because I hold nothing back from them, they hold nothing back from me.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful exchange. And what happens is, it sometimes it feels like a burst of wind is just blowing around us in a circle.
Mm.
With other times it's just a soothing, something, but the room lightens. You see, negative energy is dark, it's hot and dense.
Mm.
So if you go into a restaurant to eat dinner, next time try this, Nick. You go
Mm-hmm.
and ask your body out loud in front of your wife, and I say, Nick, which side do we want to sit in? It doesn't matter where they want to lead you. Do you understand? You're in control. You say,
Right.
hang on a minute, and you ask yourself, and your body literally is so powerful, it will sense the heat in the room and
Yep.
lead you to the coolest place, because positive energy is light and breezy. It
Mm.
just feels it, you just want to bask in it
Yeah.
because
And
it's
cool.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool and light.
Mm-hmm.
Where darkness, um negative energy is dark and dense.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you are watching or listening. This is the Holistic Monitor, and I'm your host, Nic Scogna. The Holistic Monitor is a wellness podcast featuring life energy research, health and wellness transformation, self-improvement and empowerment, philosophy, spirituality, and now guest interviews as well. We look forward to your comments on our YouTube channel at Holistic Monitor, and you can also listen on the go with us at Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. And with that, let's get today's show started. Juniper Jillian Joy,
Mm-hmm.
you have written a book,
Mm-hmm.
and you have quite an ability to work with people from all walks of life. What got you started on your path?
Oh my. Well, it began when I was 3. As I could barely walk, but I
Mm.
was a talker. So my mother, I was very articulate. So my mother took me every time she would clean the houses of someone that was ill or in our church. She'd take me and she taught me how to clean. So I cleaned
Mm.
while she cooked and washed the clothes and, cared for them. So that's how I became a caregiver.
There you go. Yeah. Very early then.
Very early.
Instilled in the beginning there. Yeah.
I've always been a caregiver.
Excellent. Excellent. And does that roll into your book as well as an extension?
Um, it does on the emotional side,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the logical side, because I'm fascinated by how people think, and the intertwining of the emotion and the logic.
Yeah. And the book, is this your first book?
This is my first published book.
First
Yes.
published book? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, who do you hope reads the book?
Oh my goodness. Everyone that read The Alchemist,
Mm.
they
Oh
they're
yeah.
gonna, for the adventure, the sheer adventure of fun,
Yeah.
to bring and incite their inner child excitement.
Yeah. Okay. So all ages?
All ages from
That's
5 and
fantastic.
up. Yeah, anyone that can read.
Wow. That's great. And it is out now,
It is
right?
out. Yes.
Um, are you getting good traction? Getting a lot of good
Yeah, it's been
response?
interesting. It's been out what, three or 4 weeks now, and now we've got traction. It's
Hmm.
like it takes a minute for all the people who were waiting for it,
Yeah. Yeah.
got busy, and we had to give them a little reminder.
Yeah.
It's out there, so now they're picking it up.
It's that algorithm.
It is.
You got to catch the
It
algorithm in
is.
the right
It
wave.
is. Especially with almost 100,000 contacts of mine,
Oh wow.
so reaching out to all those people. So it was
Yeah.
really interesting.
Now you have a background in like you said from the very beginning, from
Yeah.
when you were 3, but you also made a career of working with people as well.
I
Uh,
have in every career. I've had two. I was in the automobile industry as
mhm.
a closer of all things,
Oh yeah,
uh, of 55 men. I closed their, whatever's their
yeah,
deal over the desk. But
yeah. The counts.
and
Yeah.
then insurance. I've been in
Okay.
the financial industry as a financial strategist and a
Oh yeah,
coach.
definitely. Wow. Those are very on target type of
Yeah.
jobs. You
I
know.
was always an advanced English student and an advanced math student, and I thought that was normal.
Right.
So what I do are they're literally so far left and so far right.
Right. And that's what you work with a lot, right? Is the
Yeah,
different hemispheres.
I do.
Yeah.
I never know what I'm gonna get, and it's such an exciting. I never know how people think or what it is they want to achieve, in their life,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful journey to help someone awaken within themselves and understand who they are.
Right. And what is your format? Do you work with clients through Zoom, or do you do word of mouth? What's your?
I do face to face. I work with clients face to face. If they're in the areas that I'm at,
Yeah.
I do Zoom as well. So
Okay. And what is your typical process as far as discovering or in discovery with somebody? What do you do to kind of touch base with them, on a soul level?
yeah, um, I would say the first thing I would ask someone, but I ask everyone this. They always come up to me, and the first thing I ask is there anything in your life that you'd like to change or adjust in any way?
Hmm.
And they sit there for a minute and they're really asking themselves, because what I did with that question is I invoked every cell of their body to
Mm.
answer with them. See, so they're searching for the answer and they honor me with that silence of a confirmation.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. And so they basically have a moment to dwell
Yes,
on
they're
that.
checking,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
They're checking with themselves and then they answer.
Hmm.
And it all starts from there. And that's truly a test of many things. You're testing also to see, it's like the dating world. We're
Mm.
testing to see if the client is really wanting what they think they want.
Right.
And you're also testing to see how self-aware they are.
Mm.
You
Hmm.
see,
How deep they can go with what they're looking to change,
there's
that
a
sort of
lot
thing.
in that one little question.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
getting a
Yeah.
lot of answers.
Yeah. Definitely. Do you find that people surprise themselves with their first answer? Maybe they
Yes,
going along and they think want all these different things, and then you access that deeper question,
exactly.
and they come out with something that they didn't even think they were
Yeah.
actually looking for.
What I did with that question is I distracted the logic long enough to get to the emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and the inner child answers.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then they laugh every time almost. A big
Yeah.
smile comes on their face.
There it is.
Every single time it's like
It's great.
that's what I look for.
Yeah.
And those are the types of people that we help, Nick.
Right. Yeah. Do you and do you access this in the book? Is this part of the
Yeah.
methodology to the book itself?
It's actually how I wrote the book. Now,
Mm.
reading it, it's going to read very simply, but
Yeah.
believe me, it's very complex in there.
Yeah.
I unraveled every part of the brain as I was healing myself,
Mm.
and God was teaching me without drugs or medication or anything. God was
Mm.
leading me every step of the way.
Yeah.
And so, what I do is when you're reading, it's like a boxer. Boom, left, right, center.
Mm.
So we're firing the consciousness because you're doing the physical act of reading. But while you're reading, your awareness is checking and asking you, just like you ask you with that question I asked them. See?
Right. Right.
and it opens up, and we distracted their logic long enough to get
Hmm.
their inner child to answer, and that is how we know they're alive and well.
Yeah. Very good. And you say like the alchemist, so it's kind of like a process, an unfolding that happens through
Absolutely.
the
Everything.
storyline.
Absolutely. We're all in search of something. Everything that we have been searching for, everything we've wanted from another person, what I'm going to show the world is that it is found within themselves.
Hmm.
Everything they've ever sought after.
Yeah. It's all in within you. Yeah. And that's what I
Absolutely.
said. Maybe their answer surprises them because they get
Yeah,
to a core.
exactly. It always
Yeah.
does.
And when it's
And
in
they
core,
laugh.
it's like within
Yeah,
themselves.
it is. And
Yeah.
it's funny because the first thing they say is something that brings them such joy. Their inner child is bringing out all this joy. And the
Right.
first thing they say, they laugh and they say, oh, I haven't thought about that. Why? I don't even know why I said that. That's what they'll say
Yeah. Yeah.
because I know what I did. I gave them an old right punch. It's just fun.
Right.
It's fun to fire the parts of their brain while they're and teach them what you're doing while you're doing it, and
Yeah.
they can't stop it.
Right.
What you teach them is how to do it for themselves, and then you've got something powerful.
Yeah. That's a tool right
It's
there.
absolutely we are everything we need.
Yeah. No doubt. Now, would
We
you fall in line with mindset coaching, that sort of thing?
That's exactly what it is. It's really awareness coaching.
Awareness coaching?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, but I literally just released. So I'm creating a manual for men and a
Hmm.
manual for women, a guide, a journal, a daily journal.
Hmm.
Of course,
Okay.
contains a calendar, but it starts out with just a one page, and it graduates to a more in-depth awareness of the self in the books. And I just released the first one, a Mindful Man journal that's out now through Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mindful Man Journal.
Uh-huh.
What's your main book's name?
It's called The First Story of Intentions,
Hmm.
subtitled The Introduction to the Inner Child.
Yeah. And that basically says everything that it needs to say,
Every
doesn't it?
bit.
Yeah.
It's
It's
self-explanatory,
a pretty good
and
title.
it's teaching. It's going back and teaching God's intentions, not
Mm-hmm.
humanity's.
Right.
So it's unconditioning all of the conditioning that we have all had, including our generational conditioning.
Right. Yeah. The
That
human stuff.
absolutely, that's what
The
took the
human
most time,
concerns.
was
Yeah.
making sure that I was including all of these things in my writing at the same
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
but without no pointing fingers, just through beautiful, fun ways and things to do
Yeah.
through
It's
these
perfect.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you coming from?
I'm in Franklin, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Franklin,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Can't
Yeah.
you tell?
Yeah.
My
I hear a voice there.
accent. Yes.
Accent, as it
Yeah,
were,
there's a
if it's an
lot of
accent.
accents. Yeah, there's a lot of accents in here. I just never know how my body's going to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Franklin, Tennessee is the east, right?
It's,
Is that
you know
east?
what? I think of you. Where are you?
Kentucky, central Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice area. I like
Oh yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah. A lot of my family on my mom's side is from the Chattanooga area.
Yes, that's a beautiful area for
Yeah.
anyone that loves sports.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Big outdoors. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good outdoor
Yes,
hiking.
it's
I've been there for hiking.
amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it there.
Yeah. It's really cool. Cool area. And then I spent a lot of time in Franklin, North Carolina, which is probably, I don't know, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, it is somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. A
Couple
lot of
states south
Franklins
of.
going on.
Yes,
Very
yeah,
nice.
you're right. That is funny. I never paid attention until I lived here, and then I'm like, there's a Franklin everywhere.
Yeah.
Here Franklin, there Franklin, here Franklin, everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And as far as with your work, are you doing any kind of outreach to a wider audience to help, as far as maybe a podcast or any kind of
That's a great
broader
question.
audience aside
Uh,
from this podcast, of course?
Yeah,
But
yes. I love that question. I have wrestled with the with the social media pieces
mm-hmm.
because there's so much I want to say.
Yeah.
I, yeah, anytime I watch social media, I'm watching it for data. I'm
Mm,
watching it to see what is it, and I'm collecting what is it they would need to hear. What is it they're
mm,
truly asking for in their intentions in their heart?
right.
And I'm listening to everything they don't say, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, not just what they're doing or saying. And it's been amazing. So I am going to have a podcast of my own.
Excellent.
And yeah, so I'm really excited to get started on that.
Yeah. Did you have a name for that one yet?
I do.
Oh, is it a
But I
secret?
don't know it. Well, you know what?
Dare you
I
say?
don't know it
Yeah.
off the top of my head. I know I know our slogan. I think it's just gonna be, oh my goodness, I can't remember because we floated around a couple names. Anyway, I'll
Yeah.
let you know.
It'll happen as soon as you stop
It
thinking about it,
will.
right?
I know when I'm not thinking about it,
It's the
but
lost keys
yeah,
syndrome. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how I.
No, it's all good. Do you think what I find with social media is that you have to take it with a light heart. You really have to go into it
Yeah,
with a light spirit, almost
yeah.
like a joker, because there are a lot of
So
jokers.
right. You're
you
so
know,
right.
so you
You
have to
know,
expect the trolls, as it were, and
yeah,
weird comments from left field, and just roll with them
you're right. I know,
as
and
best as
it's
possible.
yeah. I actually, and you say that because I actually had someone that uh, looked at my things, and you know, it's pretty interesting. People, their feedback
Mm-hmm.
when they don't know you because you're trying to figure out how do I tell my message in a way that I
Right.
feel and I feel and know that you need,
Yeah.
yet you want to be nasty about something. You know, you just never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
that's the element that when
it
you're
is.
speaking to specifically social media, and I'm not sure exactly why it's you know
Yeah,
very heavily internet based, I should say.
yeah, it really is.
It's I guess it's that lack of actual contact with somebody that people feel the
Yeah,
liberty to
right,
express in ways that they
right.
normally wouldn't. It's really hard
It,
to
you're
understand.
right. Every
Sometimes I'll
bit of
get
that.
comments and I'm like, well, that doesn't. I don't even know if that makes sense.
Yeah. It doesn't
you
make
know,
sense. It doesn't
yeah,
make sense. And it's interesting that you say that because the first thing when I start talking to people about my life and what God has shown me, the first thing they do is they say, I don't my mind can't wrap around that. And I
yeah,
said, you know why? Because I'm defying your logic.
hmm,
That's why I'm defying all the limits that we've been told that we have
yeah,
to show that we truly have limitless possibilities in our life. If we can think it, imagine it, and believe it, we can have it.
right,
And
yeah,
that's the truth.
yeah, yeah. The sky's not even the limit, as it were.
No, I
Yeah,
mean, we AI, all these things they're doing with AI. Let me tell you,
yeah,
the human brain, there's no machine that can do what the human brain can do when you train it.
yeah. Well, let me ask you about that. I'm trying to delve into it. I'm getting a
Yeah.
little bit more fearful of it, and maybe
Why?
it's fearful in respect of
Yeah.
what's
Oh, everything should
coming.
be respected. There's a
Yeah,
responsibility to the gifts that God opens, and I tell you right now, there are people out there that are very gifted,
yeah,
and they're already lying, cheating, and stealing, you know. And what God, the gifts that God has enhanced within me, that are my inheritance, is what He called them.
hmm,
are so beautiful is all about healing
Right.
and returning to God's true intentions, not humanity's. You see, humanity needs verification,
Right.
right? Third party validation.
Mm-hmm.
But God's not in the validation business. God's in the confirmation business.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you could say that even the path of self indulgence and
Mm, greed.
power and greed
Yeah,
is also a confirmation. Um, you
absolutely.
can't get away from the mirror. No
No,
matter
you
what you
cannot.
do, you're always staring at yourself, and
No.
it's like the ultimate genie in a bottle. You
Yeah,
know, you will get exactly what you're looking for, and people are
you're
looking
right.
for power, then they'll get it, but they get everything that comes along with it. And if it's not in love, if it's not in that higher
Absolutely.
passion, that higher directive, then it's going to circle itself and evolve itself within itself. With power will also corrupt,
Right.
and that sort of thing, where you just can't get away from that serpent eating its tail
Yeah,
situation.
I
You know,
understand.
it's a bunch of getting nowhere in a sense. And that's the idea of having a way out of the maze, a way out of the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Um,
But you see, Nick, every
mm,
single one of us, what you're talking about is so I may blow your mind here, but and it's a term you may or may not have heard is we all have a shadow. Have you
yeah.
heard that term before?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all have a shadow. You see, God's shadow was Satan. And
Mm,
Satan won because he kicked him out of heaven, right?
right.
Now, we all have a shadow that we are, that's the fight against the flesh that we're doing every single
Yeah.
day.
Right.
And what you're talking about is displays of giving into the flesh, a lack of honoring thyself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you don't have, to my amazement too, was there's a lot of people self-aware and they're using things for the wrong reasons.
Right.
All because, and I know the reason is adverse childhood issues and
Mm.
trauma
Mm. Yeah. Feeding into
that's
something
stuck in
from,
there. Because
yeah.
some of my female friends that are, that have been molested or
Mm.
mistreated, like, something that happened to me at the age of 12,
Mm.
it's like these women all, they talk to me, and it's interesting because every single person without the right support, you're going to go left, far left. And a lot of these women, what's happened in their life is because they had a lack of support.
Right.
And I'm just talking about in trauma in general.
Yeah.
When you have trauma and you don't have the support system to
Right.
get over it and heal it, then what happens is you're out, and literally, I know just from their stories that these ladies and these men, they are having physical intimacy at rampant ways with lots of people, different
Mm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the only way they feel anything.
Mm. Mm.
You see? And
Yeah.
that's hard when you're that numb to the world that you can't slow down. I was out in my pool the other day. God woke me up and said, Juniper, let's take it to the pool.
Mm. Take it to
So
the
I went,
pool.
take it to the pool. That's what he said. So I went down and there was nobody there.
Mm.
I'm in an apartment complex and there's nobody there. And God said, it's just you and me.
Mm.
And we're going to talk. You say whatever's on your heart because I feel it.
Yeah.
And I just started talking and let myself be. And it was really amazing because you know what happened?
Mm.
You see, one by one, all of our ancestors that have passed started coming. And you know what? One of my dear friends, his father passed when he was 16 and he's struggling. He's an alpha man that has become a beta man that thinks he's an alpha, still an alpha man, you see. And that's hard. It's hard for our beautiful men to, trauma affects all men,
Right,
you
right.
men, very differently than it affects women. And he's so busy. He keeps himself so busy
Yeah.
that
Well,
he
I had a,
couldn't hear his own fathers,
yeah.
coming to talk to him, in spirit after he passed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
But everybody's too busy to hear all of our ancestors that we're surrounded by them.
Right.
I mean, they're just waiting to tell and lead everyone, lead their family members to whom they're supposed to be, because they're going to download all of those beautiful instructions.
Yeah. It's a
You
true,
know,
true support system that
it's amazing.
is just like a present waiting to be opened.
It is. And yeah, but you have to
Yeah.
be aware of yourself to get it and
Yeah.
connect it to your inner child to hear it.
Right. And that's what I used to call having your a straw to your higher self, nice
You're
and
so
clear. Yeah.
exactly.
Have
That's
the
a
straw
beautiful way
clean.
to put it.
If
Yeah.
the straw is not clean, you're not going to hear it
If it's
quite well.
clogged, it's over.
Yeah, I had a guest recently, and that's kind of how he led. Was that if you have a breakup, then a guy having a breakup doesn't have as
Right.
diligent a support system as if a female has a breakup, whereas they
Absolutely.
have a communal ability to heal together through an emotional pain, whereas a
Right.
guy kind of has to stifle it down and not show it.
Yeah. You
And
know
that's
what?
broader socially, but
Absolutely. That's because their guy friends are saying, well, do what I
toughen up.
do.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah, be a
yeah,
man. It's like, come on now. Let that man feel.
right,
I
right,
mean, divorce and breakups are hard on anyone. It doesn't matter. You can feel strongly about someone and
yeah,
not be, in a committed situation. But you know what? It's hard when you don't have those people in your life, because you learn to, you love who you are around them. That's what you miss when they're gone.
right,
You don't,
right.
it's not them you necessarily miss, it's who they brought out in you.
Yeah, it's
Isn't that
that
something?
energy of community. Yeah,
Absolutely, and that's hard.
yeah,
Every breakup is hard, and we have to teach ourselves resiliency, because we have to teach it to our children.
yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we just don't overcome anything, and
Right.
our mental health issues keep rising because of it.
Yeah, generational trauma, as they
Absolutely.
say. Yeah, and also social too. Like it's the way that
Oh
some trauma
yeah,
happens, and if there isn't that support system
yeah,
in place, just
yeah,
naturally,
yeah,
the victim isn't believed.
yeah.
And
Or
what
trigger.
happens is then you're the natural process of the mind is to protect, so it covers,
Yeah,
hides,
absolutely.
and then
But
you
you
end up
can't hide.
acting in ways you would not
Yeah,
ever have acted before.
very
Yeah.
true. But the body has a way of showing you, because what happens is you get the hiccup and you have a trigger.
Right.
And that's why we have
Right.
triggers, because we're ignoring the rest of our body signals saying, hey, over here, we need rescued.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going down, SOS now.
Right. Right. Well, we
And,
would in our system we call it pulling the tail of the dragon because
yeah,
you're looking for an energetic
yeah,
anomaly or trauma,
yeah,
and it sends tentacles through your whole life. And these
you're right.
triggers are little like electrical pop-ups, kind of like
Absolutely.
gasping for
They
air
are.
as it comes to the current time.
They are.
And so
They're
when you
coming to
find
the
one, you
awareness.
grab it and you drag it back, and you find you go to the source and you try to
Yeah,
discharge that trauma, that energetic
yeah,
matrix that belongs there because it's there, but it doesn't belong in the now. It doesn't belong in control of
right.
your life. You know.
Yeah. Because you're
Um,
not helpless anymore.
right. Right.
You were a helpless child, but you're not
Yeah.
helpless, because once you're aware of it, and I take people back to those moments and clear them with them sitting right in front of me, and I don't touch them.
Yeah.
I mean, I just take their higher self with me, and we go back and we clear it. And it's amazing because they come back in themselves, and it's a beautiful embrace when we come back,
Yeah.
and I put them back into their body.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And then they're really truly connected, because it's like believing in God.
Yeah.
People have lost. They're so mistreated. They're like, where did they're losing hope that unconditional love exists anywhere.
Right. Right.
And God told me to put my books out to teach.
Yeah.
His unconditional love is alive and present. You just have to see with your heart, not your eyes.
Right. And that's the important thing.
That's right.
And I'd say that, you know, the divinity or the emotional energy
Mm-hmm.
that is of a higher calling is the
It's
light, and that the shadow is getting lost in this physical world and
yeah,
thinking that this is it. This
yeah,
this finite realm is
absolutely.
all there is. And if you're doing that, you're getting lost in the shadow work.
You're right. And the only way
Whereas,
to do it is to cut off the conditioning and
right,
create neurogenesis,
mm,
new neurons, positive ones in your brain. And that is what my book
mm,
gets us started doing. And it's
fantastic.
so exciting.
Yeah,
Oh my
neurogenesis. What a
goodness.
great term that is.
Because we are
Neurogenesis.
firing. That's truly what we're doing, is I am firing. So it's a left, right, left. Like
Mm,
you consciously reading, you're checking with your subconscious. Is this true?
right.
And God will confirm, yes. And then we're firing the amygdala with the creativity of the pictures are so vivid of what you see and experience, and the sounds.
Right.
And that's why I'm doing all the audio book I'm recording now, and I'm doing
Okay.
all of the voices myself. So I
Wow.
really haven't evolved.
Wow. How about that? And how many characters are in the book?
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
Got
I
a lot of
haven't
voices to do.
counted.
Huh?
I do have different voices to do, and
Okay.
I have one for all of them, and it's like my energy. It's like a playground for me. I
Yeah.
just love taking someone when I first meet someone. When I first was transitioning into my writing,
Yeah.
and I would meet new people, and they'd say, "Why?" They'd stare at me funny, and they'd say, "Well, I don't know," and I said, well, your subconscious, you're checking right now. I said, well, is she telling the truth? That was something that there was they were asking in their mind.
Right.
And
Right.
I said, well, ask yourself, am I telling the truth? And they're checking is like, oh my gosh, she is. And then they will laugh. And I tell them, because I would tell them something their inner child said to me. Like one guy said, I want to pickle.
What
His
is it?
inner child said, I want to pickle.
Oh, pickle.
And yeah, he said, I want a pickle. And
uh,
I said, ask your inner child. I said, your inner child just told me to say that. And he checked, and he's like, he did say to say that. So it's just having fun, and everything is about fun. If you
right.
if you can't laugh, you can't heal. And
Right.
without joy, you can't learn,
Right. That's
and
right.
that's what it's about. So it's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's a positive aspect
Absolutely.
of
Yeah. I mean, every
impression.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I write, so what I'm doing in my writing is I'm inside your mind while you're consciously reading,
Mm,
subconsciously checking for fact,
yeah.
and letting your inner child make you aware of where he's wounded or she's wounded. I am taking you on a journey
Right.
to
And
where we are opening you up to yourself, so that your inner child can say, hey, hi,
hi. Yeah.
I've been waiting over here for you. I've been waiting at the train station all since you left me at 3 with my bags packed. Now I'm ready to come home.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Now, did you you said you wrote this
Hmm.
for yourself, and
I did.
what did you already stumble upon this methodology, and you kind of put it into form on page so that
Some
you
of
could
them.
work with it? Yeah.
Oh, I like you, Nick. I love it. That's a great question because, yes. So, for the last 7 years, I've been traveling the world
Mm,
healing my inner child. And I have been behind the scenes of some of the most brilliant minds.
mm,
They
okay.
let me in because I love learning, and God told me He would open doors, every door for me, and He has. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
to knock on one, and they let me in to see and experience holistic healing,
Mm,
how it works, why it works. I literally learned about all the circuitry inside the body, the nervous system, and everything,
yeah.
and one by one, God was teaching me how to reset the entire system and
Mm,
make us God of us.
yeah.
Isn't that
Control of our
something?
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Control
We can
mechanism.
wish it into existence. And that's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly. I mean, that's the idea is concept first,
It
thought
is.
first, you know.
Yeah, and act. And
Yeah. Well,
say
of
and
course,
act.
but
Yeah.
it goes from concept to energy to
Yeah.
materialization.
Yeah.
And we always think like, well, isn't it here first? And
But
this is what
no.
we know, is this is the world that
Uh-uh.
we know. We have to build with the blocks that we
Right.
have. But the thought of the fact that that block wasn't a block, it was a piece of rock that was
Yeah.
turned into a block. It was an
Yeah.
idea that was made form, right?
Right.
Um, so we're always looking at it in reverse. We're always
That's right.
going
Right.
thought last.
No, but
No, it's thought first. It's
yeah,
we
we
bring it
we
into
literally.
form.
Yeah, but and then we have to speak it out loud. We have to hear
Right.
ourselves because, as the Bible said, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then
Yeah.
He spoke everything into existence. See,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
exactly, He's teaching us to do exactly the same thing that
Oh
He
yeah.
did for us.
Right. Yeah. In Zoroastrianism, it's good thoughts,
Absolutely.
good words, good deeds. So you'll put them all in a line.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
are all sowing seeds of God's unconditional love every day in our words, deeds, and actions, period. And we're
Yeah.
getting counted for that. Really.
Yeah. Well, and it's what we reflect. So, what light do
Absolutely.
we reflect? And that's,
Yeah.
I think, really important to kind of set our sights on the highest and best of what we can offer
Yeah.
at most points. I mean, the key here, I think, for a lot of people is to be, you're going to be living your life the way that you live your life,
Right.
and you got to catch yourself,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
You gotta
outside
ask
of yourself.
yourself.
Say, oh,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Why do I think this is so,
Exactly.
permanent and,
Yes.
say
Actually,
real,
the
but,
question to ask,
hmm,
if they ask themselves, am I doing what I would be doing if I knew the why I was born? Mm, that's a check.
right.
And let me tell you, sit there and hold that for a minute. There's not a single person that should not ask themselves that question. You know why?
Hmm.
Because if that answer is no, then they have a they better start checking with the rest of them, because if they're not if every 100% of every cell in my body does not agree
Right.
on everything I do, it is not done.
Hmm. Well, it's not
But
that
because
holy.
yeah,
It's
that's
not that
it.
holy. It can be
That's it.
done, just not
That's
in full.
it's just it's just like, no, we're not gonna do it.
Right.
If
Right.
no matter what's going on, if we're invited to do things and participate in lots of things, and it's like, if 100% of me does not agree, then
Yeah.
we're not going to do it.
Uh
I have to feel
huh.
completely safe and nurtured
Yeah.
everywhere I go as an extension of how I treat myself.
Mm-hmm. This is falls in line with the respect level of,
Absolutely. Honor
right.
thyself.
Respect yourself enough
Yeah.
to demand it from others.
Yeah. Because when you
Yeah.
do, you honor God. You
Right.
honor God by honoring you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else, falls. You treat everything else as an extension of how you treat you.
Yeah.
And that's why so many relationships, I mean, goodness gracious, it's amazing what I have learned on the social media. And I don't
Yeah.
watch TV. I'm
Yeah. You don't
telling you,
need to.
I've just been collecting the data, and it's been astonishing for
Yeah.
me to learn what is going on out there.
Yeah, yeah.
My
Well, it's
heart.
what a lot of people do, a lot of concessions
Yeah,
and subscribe their energy in a place where they may not be fully devoted to going, but only maybe
absolutely.
10% or 5%.
Yeah.
And
They're
the
afraid to be
subtracting of the
alone
parts.
with
Yeah.
themselves.
And they may not even know what that means.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the path is initially is to start learning about like what are your triggers, what are your
I
mechanisms,
agree. Yeah.
what do these things represent for me, and how can I take
Yeah.
control, take the reins
And
back from,
how deep does that
yeah,
go?
and
Because
how deep
it
does it go?
ricochets. It's like a 22 bullet. It's ricocheting all
Yeah,
around your body. And believe me, you're going to run down those circuits. I
right.
mean, if you keep
Yep.
if you keep chasing it and following what your body is leading you to, you're going
Right.
to be and flow through it. Sit with it. Be alone with you and
Right.
let yourself grieve that moment in your life. It
Yeah.
may only take a minute. I mean, let me tell you, it is the best therapy. It is. It is
Oh yeah.
money saving therapy, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
game changing.
For
You
sure.
know,
Yeah.
it's becoming whole and unified within yourself. And when you know yourself, you know everyone else. You can
Yeah.
feel the energy shifts all all differently around, different people. You'll feel it.
Yeah, that, and you can also begin knowing more about your purpose,
Yeah,
knowing all of
exactly.
these things. It becomes that ever
Yeah.
present,
Yeah.
self, that connection, the
Absolutely.
direct divine connection to all
Yes.
that is, because you're getting to that absolute of yourself by shedding away all of the baggage,
Absolutely.
that could be coming from past lives
It's
or
all conditioning.
generational,
Yeah. You're
yeah,
taking
all
off
these
the logs of
conditions.
weight. Yeah.
Conditions on your energy. And,
Yeah.
once you know it, you have the control. You can dispel it. They
Yeah.
say shine the light on it, shine the light on the darkness. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Does your book go into that in detail, or is it in story
It does.
format? Is it
It
kind of,
actually goes, so it is written like a fantasy fiction fable because it's just magically fun.
yeah.
Really, and filled with humor. I
Yeah,
love I love to laugh, and I didn't know it was funny, but apparently I am.
that's good. Yeah, yeah.
But it follows the story of two little girls,
Mm,
and my older selves are teaching my younger selves how to maneuver through what's going on and how to
mm,
become self-aware as they're raising their self-esteem,
mm.
self-confidence, and self-worth, and all of those beautiful things that
Yeah,
make up the foundation of our inner child
interesting.
feeling
Yeah,
nurtured and safe.
right. Do they go through experiences, even
Yes.
bad experiences, but then they are given the support from the future self? Is that how that's working in the book?
No, it's
No.
what I it's really interesting because what I knew I was going to be doing was telling the future about the past, about the future that hadn't happened yet.
Ah, okay. That sounds
Isn't that a
fun.
mind orgasm, right? It's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, what'd she say?
Yeah, time
Because
twist.
what's
Yeah.
interesting is that um, my stories are my present self telling the stories of my entire life
Mm.
about
Hmm.
the present, and what I know is future as God has shown it to me, ever changing, by the way. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And telling it as if it were present.
Mm.
So telling stories about the past in the future. Makes sense?
I think so.
I know I
Yeah.
did it again. But
Like
see,
that Back to the Future
but
thing.
see, this is the way I write. So what
Yeah.
I'm doing with your mind right now
Yeah.
is this fun
Time
is what
travel.
I do in my book, but
Right.
it's also how I speak. So it's
Yeah.
just who I am because I'm constantly firing all three parts of my brain.
Mm.
So I don't know if you know this or not, but do you know what the amygdala does?
Is it a regulator?
It controls the nervous system,
Yeah.
manages the nervous system, while also it's connected directly to the nervous system, right? wired
Mm-hmm.
directly. But what's amazing that so they support and live off each other, right?
Right.
Feeding all of these neurons. I'm going to say because we're really firing everything all the way back in there. But what's amazing is that it fires creativity and imagination and wonder that is required for your inner child, for any of us to have or be as humble as a little child, like God said in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Because I am more, I am a child in here. I mean,
Right.
it depends on what's happening right now. You're speaking to Jillian, my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But I know different interviews, they incite my inner child, which is Juniper, and we have a little fun.
Yeah.
But and then joy is not only my intention for my life, but my intention for everyone in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be spreading the joy
There you go.
in
Yeah.
everything I do. And I'm writing books, sequels to that book, that also expand the writing's the same
Mm-hmm.
creatively.
Yeah.
It's really fun. So
Yeah.
it's just, but we're going to follow along and we're going to grow. We're going to reparent our inner child and have some fun doing it.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So give a support to that inner child to have
Exactly.
what they
In
need.
some fun ways, because
Yeah.
adults don't want to do something if it's not fun, see?
Right.
And fun
Right.
for an adult is going to a bar and having a drink or playing
Yeah.
pool, or
Typically.
you know, men they do sports, women go get their nails done, or get her hair done, have a self love and self pamper day, right?
Right. Right.
But it's interesting because we can certainly, tap into all of those beautiful things.
Would you say, by the sound of it, that
Hmm.
you're manifesting one of your senses or
Yes,
selves to channel and
we
bring through
also,
information that's of the higher purpose,
yes.
and
So
much like a walk-in or something like that?
exactly like a
Okay.
walk-in, she walked into me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have had many walk-ins, um, because of what God has taught me. I've had spirits that had to leave someone because they were so abusing. They were abusing it and toxic to it,
Yeah.
um, and God placed it into me, and I knew about it. I
Yeah.
felt its presence. I accept it, just like I accept every cell of my body. I speak to every part of my body, my
Mm-hmm.
hair, my nail, literally. I
Right.
talk to every cell of me, simply because, to acknowledge it, because they do. We get one body, and we're on borrowed time unless we euthanize it. And what I
Mm.
mean by that is what I did when I created neurogenesis in my mind, in my head, and then grew my amygdala twice as big as it was because of my meditation.
Mm.
Then what I am now able to do are some pretty fantastic things.
Yeah. So meditation as well is part of the process.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
But what I did was I took everything I learned in meditation and firing, how to fire the amygdala,
Mm-hmm.
through my words and
Right.
my
Okay.
writing, how I write and what I say in those words. Um, that is very strategic. So you'll see I have a very interesting style of writing,
Yeah.
but it's easy to read.
Right.
Literally, any little child that can read would read it and go, "Oh, it is simple."
Right. Five and up.
Yeah, but that's the fun part, is making it look simple.
Yeah.
Taking Because we're so complex. We're filled with nervous endings. So many amazing things within our bodies.
Yeah.
Muscles and tendons and everything else that all run together. And listen, we're in unison. If
Yeah.
we don't agree to walk across the floor, guess what? You're not gonna walk. See,
Exactly.
if your
Yeah.
legs don't agree, they're not going to take you over there.
Right. Right.
And that's what's happened to, some people.
Yeah.
It's
For
like
sure. Yeah.
parts of their body no longer agree. to be present. And that's
Right.
the truth. Cells will choose to die to save you. Isn't
Right.
that something?
Yeah, it's wild, but yeah, that's how it works. Yeah,
It is truly
absolutely.
how that works because our cells, every cell of our body loves us so much, they would die for us and get
Yeah.
out of the way. See what I'm saying? It's
Oh yeah.
interesting. It's amazing what our bodies know about us. I always say we're cutting the head off the snake
Mm,
because what we're doing, did you know if you stop thinking, your body knows exactly what to do because it's led by your heart.
yeah. Yeah. It's connected.
You're
It goes into
overthinking.
the
People,
subconscious.
yeah,
Is
not
more
you, but
connected to the things around it than we are. You know,
exactly. Yeah, we're
survival
too much in
purposes.
our heads. If we're
Yeah.
thinking, if we're thinking and not thankful, then we're
Mm.
thinking too much.
There
You
you
see,
go.
because I literally, I'm not thinking, I'm
Right.
thankful. I
Right.
don't have to think. God just tells me every second of every day what to do, and I flow beautifully with everything. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. It's good in the light. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a
Do you
beautiful
do?
thing. It's like floating,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
effortless.
Yeah. Do you do any kind of healing as far as hands-on or any kind of
I
directed healings
have.
like that? Yeah.
I have. I'm very particular because I'm extremely sensitive energetically
Yeah.
about who I put hands on and who I let touch me.
Right. Right.
There's a protection there,
Well, it's a
and
reciprocal,
absolutely,
bond
there's a
that happens. So.
safety, right? And but if and I do take clients that need, and I have, and have flown all over the world
Mm,
to
okay.
put hands on. I have gone. I've been called in to many that are passing or ill, have been diagnosed,
Yeah.
critically ill, terminally ill, and
Basically when the phone rings that there's
I
something on the
know,
other
yeah,
end.
I know what God told me beforehand. And I've prepared, emotionally for it. God doesn't surprise me,
Yeah.
because um, I am completely balanced in my logic and my emotions. See,
Mm,
and I but my empathy for others, it runs deep, and energetically, it's why I have to limit, you know who gets my time,
right.
because I'm a sensitive, energetically, and I protect myself with stones
Mm,
and beautiful things that God made for
mm-hmm.
us to protect ourselves with,
Yeah.
energetically, and
You said
manifest.
stones. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything special that you like to use?
I do. I always keep tourmaline.
Mm,
I like
black
tourmaline.
tourmaline.
Yes, black
Mhm.
tourmaline. It's a protection for of energies. It also keeps away any of the anything from our phone and electronics.
Right.
Protects us from that. And but smoky quartz clears
Mm,
itself, so you don't. For the busy people, it's easier to use.
yeah.
Like me, it's easier to use, and I keep smoky quartz because it does the
Awesome.
same thing, and it's a stone that clears itself, and I keep them in every bag I take everywhere.
Oh
So I
yeah.
have them on my person all the time because I have to be protected and be surrounded by positive energy.
Right. Two very good protective stones, and
Yes. I mean, that's not all. I
yeah,
mean,
I'm sure there's more,
yeah,
right?
I have a
Armament.
series of them. I have my special ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, stones have a great subtle energy that
they do,
um,
and they're
we're
beautiful.
able to tangibly work
Yeah,
with again our intention
yeah,
and our, our inclination towards them, our energy
yeah,
towards them.
yeah.
Um, and they do their own thing, and that's
They do.
great. But we can also empower them to do
Yeah,
more, and that's wonderful too. I
yeah,
think of them a lot like the subconscious mind, in
yeah.
that we have full control over that subconscious mind,
Absolutely.
but it
other than
has full
the
control
fact
over
that
everything going on.
yeah, other than the
Oh.
fact that so here's a thing, here's a test for everyone.
Hmm.
So the one thing that we can't even this is the part this is why I'm going to defy logic, see, because this is the part of the subconscious that no one ever taps into. I'm tapping it. Here's what we're going to do. So it's like you go into a room. Try this. Go into a room and give yourself 10 seconds and turn around and walk out the door. Go back out of the room and ask yourself what was the biggest picture on the wall and what
Hmm.
was in it. See? Now, if here's
Right.
the thing, your subconscious just took a picture, a video, and can tell you every single thing that's in that
Right.
room
Right.
because that your subconscious is so powerful. It is the mass. It is. Oh my lord! I get so excited. I can't speak. So, oh my goodness. So we're like the biggest machine in the world.
Hmm.
Like a computer. AI. We has nothing on us if
Yeah.
we tap into that.
Right.
It's a powerful thing because we are literally collecting all of that data, and everywhere we go, everything we've ever seen and experienced, it's all in there.
Yeah.
But because the inner child had trauma, you can't see it or experience it because it got thrown in the negative. Oh, I'm afraid, fear department, because the hippocampus automatically saw it as a threat. So the rest of your body never got a chance to even collect it. Understand?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
or even exposed to it at all.
Right.
So it's an amazing thing. So what happened was that power there went, so it's a very, very, very magical thing. And when
Yeah.
you do that, you will never live the same life again because you feel different because you are. You can
Yeah.
never unknow what you now know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a
No, that's
beautiful
right.
thing.
I mean, they say that once you do, open yourself up to these
Yeah.
things, that there is no looking back, and it's true
Yeah.
because it's that it's that
You
living in
don't need
ignorance.
motivation. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do not need any motivation. You don't need inspiration. You don't need anything.
Yeah.
Because every morning I can't wait to get out of the bed because I know. But I meditate. I rarely sleep. I meditate instead.
Right.
And but what's amazing is because I want to know everything, and I'm always going into the future because I want to know
Mm.
what what God, what people need from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
You want to be in the
know,
right place at the right time.
yeah, I
You
want to
know.
help get there now so that we can stop it before it ever starts and help our kids right now while they're in the schools.
Right.
I want to put there's some books I want to write, and I'm putting together an entire family guide.
Mm.
But there's a book I want to write for schools to help our children know who they are instead of teaching them. So here's what's happening in curriculums, and I have so many beautiful teacher friends that they used to be able to teach to the fire of the child, right? They
Mm.
could
Mm.
feel that energy, right?
Yeah.
And they're feeding what they knew these kids are hungry for, right? And they could creatively do it.
Right. Approach each child in a different
Yeah, the
way
options were
based on.
wide open. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like they were literally feeding, everything. These kids were so hungry for all this information about themselves.
Yeah.
And but what we're doing is, we're keeping them distracted in logic and
Right.
events that somebody wants them to know about, that's unfortunately some may or may not have ever happened.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean,
I mean,
honestly, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying.
yeah.
It's
It's
like,
well, when you're
sorry.
looking at history or something like that, you're
Exactly.
looking at
We're not.
something that's.
We have not, according to what God has shared with me. We
Mm.
we don't get the whole story. We're
Yeah.
told what people want us to know about them. We know what they project to us.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and I'll
that's
say
the
that
truth.
I'll say that even the person that experienced whatever that situation was, if it was experienced as a group, then even
Mm-hmm.
that one person didn't get the whole experience because it was experienced as a group. So it gets really convoluted. History is like that in a way
Yeah.
that,
Agreed.
the winner gets to
Yeah.
write it. And, you know, what I find that's
Or
really
the most
interesting.
patient one. Actually, I
Yeah.
think it goes back to the most patient because most people didn't want to be sitting in a chair writing either. But the truth is, someone found joy in it.
Yeah.
And those were the people that, you know, got to put the message out there. And, there's a lot of opinion in a lot of those books,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you
Definitely.
know?
Well, it's swerved with um, is it opinion or is it selective fact? And
Yeah.
that's where it
Yeah.
gets
Or
a little
agreed
off.
upon fact. That's
Um,
the other thing. If
what I
we,
find knowing yourself, and one thing that you touched upon about AI and us
Mhm.
as a species is we do
I
have these
love it. Don't get me
powers.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah. We have these powers that I think that if even if AI were to completely take over and be in charge, would
Hmm.
need us because we have special consciousness that it probably
Hmm.
will never have. I can't see it having it because it's
Yeah.
inorganic, but
Yeah.
would need us to use us in that way. I think there's been some great movies that have delved into the ideas behind these.
I totally agree.
Minority
Yeah.
Report was the one where they used AI and um, sentient dreamers, I believe it was, so that they could
Hmm.
precog the future.
Yeah.
But it wasn't AI doing that. It was AI utilizing. Or it
Yeah.
was
But think about,
mankind utilizing AI
yeah.
to use, consciousness.
But see, think about all these movies way back, Star Trek, all these amazing movies where they were teaching us about the future. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, their minds. See, that's the point.
Well, in
Their
their
minds
opinion,
were
of
going
course.
there, right? They're
Yeah, it's a
they're
mind's
putting
eye,
it out
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
They're opening. So here's the thing: until someone says it is possible,
Mm-hmm. Right.
nobody, based on their experiences, everybody else might think, oh, well, that's the limit, right?
Right.
No, there's no limit if you can think
Yeah.
it.
Well, if you see, and that's one of our great inspirations as a people is
Mm.
seeing somebody else do something.
Yeah, we're meant to adapt.
Yeah, or
I mean,
something
period.
else. You could say that us watching the birds fly
Yeah.
is what drove us to be able to fly ourselves. We're like, if they can do it,
Absolutely, to feel
how
that
do they do it?
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. You know what that was?
Mm,
They attached the intention. I want to fly. That's the
right.
intention,
Right.
right? And then they attached a feeling to how it would feel when
Yeah.
they flew. And that's what made it happen.
Yeah. That was the driving passion.
Exactly. So it was, their intention was targeted at their inner child emotional center.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Here we
Definitely.
go.
Yeah.
And that's where magic happens in every life.
Right. Yeah. I think that one of the things that I find in meditation
Hmm.
and again rolling back to the AI and something that I find that I don't think AI will ever have is the ability to um, view things
Hmm.
from a different from one place to another, like remote viewing.
Right.
I think that that is a consciousness ability that we have that's not programmable. It's not something that's going to come
Hmm.
out of a
No.
box, and it's not a language
Yeah.
or a logic information source type of
Yeah.
algorithm. It's something in us
Yeah.
that we're able to do.
Yeah.
It's a special
What
gift.
you, yeah.
It's one of those
Yes.
gifts that we've been given as a organic consciousness that is what a lot of people find when they meditate.
Living, breathing organism. Excuse me, organism.
Yeah, that too.
Excuse me. Yeah,
But
organism.
yeah, exactly.
But it's amazing because um, within us that is so powerful is that what you said something that I want to make sure I say some. I wanted to talk about
Hmm.
because you hit on something. What were you saying? Because I'm getting so much information right now while I'm talking to you that it's distracting me. But
It's all good.
what were
Yeah.
you saying? What were you saying again?
With the remote
There was
viewing.
something. Yeah, about
Yeah.
the so
The ability
what
to precog or
yeah,
pre-locate things that are
yeah,
happening in the current,
the
in the past,
humanity.
or in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes,
If it was
that's what I
that, I don't
wanted
know.
to touch on was
Yeah.
the power of that, the knowing that, because what you're talking about is our soul, our
Yeah.
spirit, and our very essence.
Right.
It's the vibrational. The essence is the vibrations that the essence of our being that we're meant to and do contract and expand in our
Yeah.
energetic wave. See,
Yeah, I'd say we experience it at various times,
absolutely.
and whether trained or not, or whether trying
Hmm.
to tap that power, I
Right.
think that people do experience it. They just aren't aware of it, and
Yeah, that's
or
right.
they dispower it.
Yeah.
You know,
Or exactly, or they're afraid of it
they're
and
afraid
they
of it.
just say,
Yeah,
we're not doing that again.
yeah,
And the thing is, that would take them to peace, love, and joy
yeah,
because that is a part of them. I mean, what feels good has always been a part of you,
yeah,
but what doesn't has never been and never will be a part
yeah.
meant for you or be a part of you.
Well, sometimes people will experience these newfound powers from doing
Mm-hmm.
these exercises, and it will scare them, and it's misplaced. And so that's like preparation. It just means that, and it happened to me when I first started trying to work with my internal energy. I had an
Yeah.
experience that it scared me because it was just so
Yeah.
physical and actual. And I was like,
You know,
who's here?
yeah. For people, for
There was no
people,
hiding what was going on.
yeah,
And it wasn't something that I knew that I could tap, or I didn't know that if it was guides around me, I didn't have that wherewithal or that knowledge,
yeah,
nor did I have somebody to ask about it.
yeah.
I
There
didn't
was
have
no,
somebody to say, hey, what was
yeah.
that?
You didn't have anyone to you didn't have a guide. You
Right.
didn't have an understanding or awareness of what was happening. So it's
Yeah.
scary. And
Yeah.
that's the point because and that's what I teach is opening that up because I have Joy University and
Mm,
I've just got everything incorporated. So beginning that where we're
excellent.
going to be
Yeah.
teaching parents, children, and we're going to do some online classes,
Oh,
setting that up where we teach it or we do it in the parks where we do it all together.
yeah.
We get together at different places throughout the world with a retreat, but we're going to be function or focusing on those things which
Mm,
I'm really excited about
that's
as a
excellent. Joy
family.
University, Ms. West?
Joy University. Hmm.
What I find it's very interesting, and what has always been looking back in hindsight for myself, what I found to be really interesting is the the way in which meeting somebody and having a conversation with them about something of like interest, or sometimes even of
Yeah.
not, but
Hmm.
typically something that you're interested in that sparks
Yeah.
that chain reaction. How after
Exactly.
that meeting, even if you don't really remember the person's name, or 25 years later, a chance meeting with somebody, and then you're still riding on the information.
Hmm.
If you can chase it back, you can
Yeah.
find that maybe that chance meeting with that person, that spark of an initial idea,
Right.
um, led right to where you're at in that present moment.
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting. I'm doing a lot for myself as far as um, you know
Well, you're a
recall.
mindful man.
Yeah,
That's what
memory
I'm saying.
recall.
You're a mindful man. It's really
Yeah, a lot of
important,
mind.
you
Yeah.
know?
My quest for myself is to know myself, and so
Yeah.
part of the gift that I've been given is my life and the memory of it. And I'd like to be able to have a nice package to give back when the life is over. To say,
Absolutely.
here's this beautiful experience of this life that I've
Yeah.
lived as a gift on my way out. Always come with a gift.
And, and isn't
So,
that amazing? Because you're
mm,
right. Every single person has beautiful gifts within them.
right.
And God gave to just them. I mean, just think, who knows what gifts have not been cultivated because they don't understand
Right.
how or what unconditional love, peace, and joy are because
Yeah.
of their experiences,
Yeah. Well, and it's
and they're lived in that's all they see. So they don't know any
right.
different.
I call it the laughter of the angels,
Yeah.
where we take everything so serious here and think all our
Yeah.
experiences are all these horrible, dark, terrible, and the angels are laughing because they're laughing because we think that this is everything, that we think this is permanent,
Yeah.
and
It's like
they're laughing because
you're
we don't.
overthinking. If you're thinking, you're not
Yeah, yeah.
thankful.
Like, oh, yeah, you're not thankful, right? And that too, of course. But
Yeah.
they're laughing because we don't know the punchline. We don't know that this is like a finite thing anyway. So what does it matter,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That the goal and the drive, the experience, and it's really hard to, um, it's nice to be able to reside in a place where you can say, you know what, I'm really late, but
Yeah.
perhaps I'm really late, so I avoided
Yeah.
an accident.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I'm
want
right
you.
where I need to be in the right moment at the
Yeah.
right time. And,
Yeah.
to live in that place is a lot more balanced, even if
Yeah.
it's a fantasy. Your life is being lived with a stronger intention
Yeah.
and
Isn't that better
more
than what
purpose,
humanity tells you can have?
right?
I mean, isn't it better to
Which
go
is nothing.
into fantasy? Yeah.
Yeah,
Create the life you want for
right.
you?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, in a
it's a
lot of
beautiful
ways,
thing. Yeah. In
because we
every
are
way.
manifestors.
Yeah. We can.
Yeah,
I mean, literally from the inside out. And I
right.
believe that because I've done it in my own life.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's an
I've
amazing
coached
thing,
others to do the same. So,
right?
I mean, we are powerful. And the reason that everything does what it does is it's like all those movies, that you
Yeah,
see. I love superhero movies.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
always a good guy and a bad guy.
Right.
There's always there's the shadow of the good guy, right?
Yeah.
Trying to beat,
Yep.
trying to win. And it's really interesting because that's the life we have. And
Yeah.
it's how, if we feed ourselves, like for example, if we feed ourselves things that are bad for us, if we say words that are hateful and ugly, like, you know,
Mm.
ugly, for example,
Right. Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't say that to anyone else, and I'm sure not going to say that to myself. See,
Yeah.
so it's like it's really interesting because that word has ugly intentions, and those words don't come out of my mouth unless I'm teaching something, about this. But
Right.
what's amazing is that is rotten fruit right there. That's an example of words that are rotten fruit.
Right.
It's not funny. If you're a comedian and you have to use those words to be funny, you're not funny. Get off the stage
Yeah.
now.
Well,
You know,
words are powerless without intention, and
absolutely. Now, I
yeah.
do love Chris Rock, though. And he has his words. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many amazing
Yeah.
comedians out there,
Yeah. Well,
but
and I was talking to somebody
different.
today about that, and they
Yeah.
said, what you should do is have a guest host who's a comedian. And I said,
Yeah.
what the problem with that is that I take things very literal. I don't
Same
hear
here.
things as a joke. I'm trying
Yeah.
to like wrap my mind around, and it's all,
Mm,
humor. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I missed it.
Yeah. Well,
So be
yeah.
very challenging for me to operate, not being clear on what the comment is. If it is a comment of a joke, I guess I'd have to be really used to and know the tell
Well,
of the comedian.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. But that's the point. That's
yeah,
the thing about energy. That's why when you first meet someone, I bet when you met your wife,
mm-hmm.
when you met her, there's like, that she brought out something in you that felt different than any
Right,
other woman that you met.
right,
And there's like, I want to explore this. I want to get to know her because there's something about her that lit you up, right?
right, right.
And then you have other people on the other end of the spectrum. So you have far
Yeah,
left, like right, that's perfect what you did with your beautiful wife. Far left is mm, that does not feel good at all,
right,
right?
right. Yeah,
I can't be there. That feels like dense, sweaty.
yeah,
I got to detox a lot to, cleanse myself from this space. So we're not going
yeah.
to go there in the first place.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing because that's, when we live an intentional life, that's the life we get.
Yeah.
And our body, we're all in tune. I mean, and we're not going to do anything or let people be around us that aren't going to feed us
Right.
healthy fruit with their words, actions, and deeds. And
Yep.
I'm surrounded by people, that are they honor themselves and they honor me and everyone else around them because of that.
Yeah.
And that's not always been the case. I
Right.
had to fire two different sets of friends in my life
Hmm.
since my adulthood, and that hurts,
Yeah. Well, and that's
when you
something.
realize
Yeah. Well,
they're,
that's something that you realize you have to do is you have to
yeah,
say, okay, I'm not that person that you think I am.
absolutely.
And it's a cutoff, basically.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, because when I started to grow, it was apparent to me. I mean, I'm becoming, it's like I'm losing 1,000 pounds,
Yeah.
lighter,
Getting light. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I get, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then here they are, like,
It's like
they're not
ropes
budging. They're
tying
like
down the.
sinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
sinking in the sand. They were stuck in their ways and they were happy there. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, well, I can't, I'm sorry. I can't
Right.
have that in my life. It's a distraction because it's not taking me to my full purpose. And
Right.
I need people in my life that are wanting to take that ride with me because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only so many seats on the bus, Nick.
Right. That's right. That's
You
right.
know,
Well, and of course, there's always room to expand. You can always
absolutely.
put
Yeah.
another level on top and another
Oh
add more
yeah,
people.
I love that.
you know,
Absolutely. But
but you
of
got
the
to be
bad
careful who you
ones,
invite on the
yeah,
bus.
that's
Yeah.
the contraction.
Yeah.
If it's negative energy, we're contracting. If
Right.
it's positive energy, we're expanding.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hot
It's
air balloon
like,
ride, really.
yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, bring it in over here. I mean,
Right.
my friends, literally, or my family, they have been here for me through my whole journey to my
Mm.
change, my name change, to my spirit warrior walking in me,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
waking up and not being able to speak any English at
Mm.
all.
Wow.
I mean,
How about that?
I actually had no voice for almost 4 months.
Oh wow. Okay.
Seriously, when
Yeah.
I came back from my meditation, and I'm like, I had a whisper, like,
Mm.
and I said, Dearest one, that's what I call God because we're intimate, see?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, Dearest one, what's happened? And he said, I'm working on your voice.
mm. Nice. Yeah.
Three
Tune up. It's
months
a tune
now.
up. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
absolutely. Yeah. Now, 3 months later, almost four, my voice
Wow.
comes back. And I, at 3 months, I said, Dearest one, what's going on? You created everything in 7 days.
Yeah.
What's happening over here? And he said, Dear one, that's what he calls me. Dear one, I am working on your voice. I have collected all the data of every language,
Mm.
its energies, and its unconditional love. And I'm combining all of that so that you can speak to everyone exactly the way they want to hear me speak to
Mm.
them.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Universal language.
And now I have what's called a unified, God has unified every language in the world into my voice. And I never know. See, if I think about speaking, I can't speak
Mm.
because I don't think. That's how much God is
Right.
everything to me,
Yeah.
because He is in every one of us, just like He's in me. He's a part of me. And it's amazing when you get to why you were born.
Mm.
It's really incredible
Yeah.
what at first you start getting downloads. They're like, I call them guidance, but they're really downloads. So you're being downloaded your purpose every
Right.
time you meditate. So what you're truly doing when you meditate, Nic, is you're going inside yourself. And but what's also happening is God is downloading into you all of your own knowledge from all of your ancestors about you, because
Mm.
you are your ancestors. Who knows how many lives you've had to get to this one, right? In
Right.
spirit, your
Right.
soul and spirit, right? And your
Mm-hmm.
essence, which is the energy that flows within you, right?
Right.
So, it's a beautiful thing. And it's also very powerful
Yeah.
when you heal yourself and where your spirit comes in. Let me tell you, it changed my life forever, really.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
can't
yeah, for
even
sure.
do I can't do the same jobs I did before because
Yeah.
of it. Now I'm my job is to teach
Yeah.
how to become, how to find out why. And we
Well,
do it together.
well, I
So,
like that. So, did you find that what you were doing before finance management, finance agency,
mhm.
that was removed, or was there a time
Was
where you kind of worked through that, tried to work the two together, and found a truer purpose or truer calling to work or to the career portion?
yeah. So there's a lot of answers to that, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it easy. So, because you're really asking a very complex question.
Yeah.
But the simple answer to that is, um, during my transition. So I was running Shannon Success Strategies and Shannon Insurance Group. So it was my coaching, my financial coaching,
Mm.
and helping the wealthy. So I teach to inside the tax books. My niche is tax-free retirement. So
Okay.
anyone that makes over 249.9 a year should talk to me, literally, because I can help them take care of some things. But it's really interesting. It's in the tax books. The government officials use it, but they don't want us to know about it. See,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
because if we all took advantage, there'd be no taxes.
Right.
You
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
So it's
It's like the
really
trust, a
interesting.
trust LLC kind of thing where
Yeah,
you're,
the
yeah.
liquidity of taxes would be gone
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
all wisen up.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But so that's what I did. So as I was transitioning, they could talk to me. So I was emotionally numb. You wouldn't know it now, but I didn't cry. I
Mm.
literally, when my mother died, I died with her. I really,
Mm.
truly, my spirit just, I was born on her birthday, and we
Mm.
shared that. It was, so I didn't share my birthday. I didn't celebrate it at all. And
Yeah.
I was really hurting. I
Yeah.
was really missing her. And so it's a really interesting thing. So while I'm going through this, my clients could share anything about their emotions, and I could handle it. I was their workhorse. Bring it to
Yeah.
me. I
Right.
got you. You
Right.
know why? Because I don't feel
You had the
I,
shield.
I don't,
Yeah.
I had empathy, like powerhouse empathy,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like whatever it was, I couldn't break through because I was so traumatized,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, uh,
Living in a
from,
castle, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just completely traumatized. And I decided it was easier to go numb and to
Yeah.
live that and to be completely 100% logical. And that's the
Right.
life I lived, yet very compassionate, kind, and empathetic. I understood, which is why I could carry all their burdens and solve their problems. And I
Right.
thrived at it because I
Right.
loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't I can't do that because now that I know why, you see, I had to flip that. Now that I am who I am meant to be, and God's intention for me is to teach the world how to become themselves
Yeah. It's
with
great.
joy
It's
and have
great.
fun. Take
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
back to our childhood while
Right.
we have the education and understanding of adulthood. That's
Mm-hmm.
sexy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
wonderful. And it's really becoming a whole person. You
Yeah,
know,
it is. And
uh, we
it's
lose part of
amazing.
ourself in our past,
Hmm.
and we lose
Yeah.
it. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's lost,
And
but we can get it
yeah, and
back.
I had to
You know.
bury. I had to change my name. God told me to change my name to Joy.
Mm.
And I meditated. I went, and meditated longer to seek why and all these things. And he said that's your inheritance is joy.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
and I said, well,
Yeah.
to feel what I feel, I want to share this with everybody. Everyone deserves to feel this
Right.
and to love this way and to know that peace, like true peace and doubt free, worry free, stress free life exists,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Definitely.
you won't have any mental health issues will go away.
Right.
Literally, like 90% will go away because we're stopping the conditioning, and then we go back to the genetics and see we rewire or unwire those people who have those things going on in their head, and we change the generations to come forever.
Yeah.
Powered and empowered.
Yeah. Well, you know what I
Yeah.
love about that, and the what it brings to mind for me is a global uplifting event or
Absolutely. I hope so.
resurgence of a
Yeah.
positive way to live and
Yeah.
respect other people. You know,
Absolutely.
the world
Yes.
definitely needs more of it. You know,
I
um,
sure hope. And I tell God, I said, I will lead your charge.
yeah.
Cause you know what? Let me tell you, you look at me now. So I kid you not, if I showed you what I look like 20 years ago and I showed you picture me now,
Hmm.
I look 20 years younger than I did 20 years ago.
No, how about that?
Because what happens is the inner child, joy, is the fountain of youth for our bodies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's an
that is
inner
the
glow,
life
as they
of
say.
living
Yeah.
water. Absolutely.
Right.
Lives within us. God planted it within us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's an amazing thing. It's like another gift that's been left for us is this sense and feeling of an abundance and of a inner
Yes.
peace and the inner child, this
Yes.
ability to reach
It's
part of
all connected.
ourselves that
Yeah.
is calm and centered and
Yeah. Balanced. And
yeah, balanced. Yeah,
yeah, it's like our why, in addition, our special why, in addition to self regulation and co regulation, are vital. And that's
yeah,
the truth.
yeah, 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 yeah. There it is. And as far as for your future in the next year or say 2 years or so, as far
Mm-hmm.
as your promotion for the book, you're working on more books, another
Mm-hmm.
series, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be in the next couple of years. So you're going to have those done.
No, I'm actually gonna have what do we I actually have the sequel to the first book out within a couple of months,
Oh,
actually.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's quick.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited. I'm
it's great.
excited to share it. Yeah.
And how many are going to be in the series?
I don't know because
Okay.
they're about everyday true life.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll ever stop
that's
writing,
good. That's good.
because
Yeah,
there's always something to learn about ourselves, our
right.
behavior, what's attached to emotional trauma, and see if you understand where it comes from logically,
Yeah,
you can then be aware and fix it and be
yeah,
like, well, I want that, not this. And
right.
it's like, well, then we're going to have to do things differently because you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
That's a fun conversation to have with yourself. See,
definitely, definitely.
you
And I think
know,
that's a lot of people need to have that conversation with
they
themselves.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the wraparound and what do
that's
we want to
right.
gain out of
I
this?
love
We're going to
that.
keep doing this over and over again.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
find that people need to catch themselves first. They need to catch themselves in the
yeah. You
act
got to
of
stop.
it's almost like misbehavior, you know?
It
It's
is.
behaving in a way that is
Ooh.
so in the moment but
Mm,
impermanent, you know.
Yeah.
It's just one of these, like, isolated
And
times
yeah.
when you
And the
think you're
thing,
just
yeah,
nothing exists except for what you're going through,
absolutely. And
that
one
trauma moment.
question, yeah, and if you think you're doing that, ask yourself, oh my gosh.
Right.
Ask yourself, is there any place in the world I would rather be? Is there anywhere else I'd rather be? And here's the thing, when you ask that question, you're going to hear a direct answer from your inner child. You see what I've been doing with you during this interview?
Mm.
That's what I do in my book, but
Mm.
more
Mm-hmm.
significantly,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
because
I
I
mean, I
want that
think
time
that
to do it.
when you ask where would you want to be, the answer might be, a completely different area.
Yeah, you're
For a
going
lot
to
of people,
get
it's
where
not
your
where they're at.
emotional center, yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to get exactly where your inner child emotional centers feel the safest and most nurtured. And they're going to tell you
Right.
the truth right
Right.
there on the spot. Because again, the question distracted their logic just for a second. We
Right.
cut
Right.
off the hippocampus
Yeah.
and the thalamus, boom, boom,
Yeah.
and we let the inner child speak. And it's a game changer.
Right.
See?
It's a little
Okay.
off of the.
Some might say I'm a little off, but when it comes to humanity, I am. I am
Yeah.
very much off of that. That's a hard no for me. So check, check, yes, and
Yeah.
tap, tap in your heart.
If the sound in the picture is a little off, it's because we are, hitting some cosmic waves here,
Yeah, it's because
and
we have elevated the
yeah,
energy.
we're
That's what we
tapping the
did.
matrix.
That's right. and
Yeah.
and negative energy tried to interfere, and my I was ringing, and then
Yeah.
God said, we're not having it. You better move on out of the way.
Yep, yep, that happens. It's that, if you ever seen the movie
Yeah,
The Matrix,
I did.
there's a
I
great
did.
scene where the cat comes through and it comes through twice, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah,
Deja
exactly.
vu or whatever. It happens a
Yeah,
lot. Electronics are very
I love it.
susceptible
There's
to
always something going on for
electromagnetics.
sure. Based on the
Yeah,
mind that made
yeah,
it. That's the point. See?
right, right. Yeah, to know something is to know its why, and to know its
Mm-hmm.
why is to have complete control over it. So it's
Yeah.
very rare for us to have anything, any knowledge of an actual why something exists.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
because that's, God's, as it were, the
Right.
creation, the why of why something exists. But if you can
But
learn
once
the
you
why,
achieve it, yeah,
yeah,
once you achieve it, then you know the why of everything else.
right. But you can
That's the
also
beautiful
disconnect it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
take the
just start
charge.
connecting all the dots so beautifully with grace and ease.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
exactly. And I actually liked how you said that about a 22 ricocheting, because what it made me think of is when you're dealing with a person who has some sort of
Mm,
hidden trauma or an
mm-hmm.
idea or something that's lodged in
Yeah,
there
a
and it's
thought, a
deep.
belief,
Yeah.
anything.
And they don't even know where or what,
They don't
you
even,
know.
they may not even know it exists.
They
And
may not
that's
even
the
know it
point.
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's that and your energy, it can be very empowering to a client, I imagine,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to dig deep for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that they can kind of, like their intention is the bullet, they can kind of seek out,
Yeah.
well, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
What is this mystery that's
Mm-hmm.
controlling me, that's
Yeah.
keeping me in the
Yeah.
dark? But that's what it takes. It takes a lot of
It
grit,
does.
and it takes a lot
It
of
does.
passion and strength and drive, a very strong desire to get to
Mm-hmm.
the root cause, the
Yeah.
root of the root.
Yeah.
And
And
that, I
it
think, is
is.
what, when when I get sick, I forget to take supplements to help me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in a weakened state. So it's harder for me to, like, get to the processing point where I'm like, I have to heal myself, that kind of thing. When somebody has a trauma that's really deep, and it's clouding their vision to
Mhm.
the cause, or they don't have that kind of
Mhm.
idea.
Mhm.
um, it's hard for them to work through, to
Yeah.
figure out where those things
Yeah,
are. You know, it can be
and
very
it's
tricky.
because of the emotional stuntedness or numbness,
Yeah.
And what I do with my clients, to your point, is that it's a powerful process. I have a lot of energy. I mean, everyone around me, I mean, you can't be around me and not feel it. And
Right.
I understand this very clearly. Like you feel it through this now on this interview.
Yeah.
It's a really strong energy, but it's also peace, love, and joy, really, and
Right.
you feel that too.
Yeah.
um and what's amazing is that within us and who we are, all of those beautiful things, when I'm with clients that I know have all this toxicity in their life,
Mm-hmm.
and they're continuing to feed it to themselves by believing it over and over again, or repeating the actions and behaviors. When we're trying to stop the cycles, the physical, what you can see cycles, we
Yeah.
stop the emotional cycle. So we're targeting the emotions to stop the behavior. See,
Right.
so what I do is in those sessions, in every session, I will my will to God's will.
Mm-hmm.
And God is with us. Where two or more gathered in my
Mm-hmm.
name, there I will be also.
Right.
And I ask God to use my body and spirit to do his will.
Yeah.
And they feel the difference. I mean, it's amazing because I always wondered my whole life, from the time I was a child, people would come up to me, and back then I was Tammy, so they'd be like, Tammy, Tammy, you know, and they were very sweet, but it's interesting, and they would tell me all about their life. I knew what they were thrilled with, their
Mm.
happy high points, and they shared their worst. So and everything in between. Literally, all of my clients, they it's like I don't even ask. I literally don't even ask questions now
Yeah.
because I just sit down with them and chat for a minute, and I ask for them to share anything they want to share.
Mm-hmm.
And what's amazing about it is that because I hold nothing back from them, they hold nothing back from me.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful exchange. And what happens is it sometimes it feels like a burst of wind is just blowing around us in a circle.
Mm.
With other times it's just a soothing, something, but the room lightens. You see, negative energy is dark, it's hot and dense.
Mm.
So if you go into a restaurant to eat dinner, next time try this, Nick. You go
Mm-hmm.
and ask your body out loud in front of your wife and I say, Nick, which side do we want to sit in? It doesn't matter where they want to lead you. Do you understand? You're in control. You say,
Right.
hang on a minute, and you ask yourself, and your body literally is so powerful, it will sense the heat in the room and
Yep.
lead you to the coolest place, because positive energy is light and breezy. It
Mm.
just feels it you just want to bask in it
Yeah.
because
And
it's
cool.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool and light.
Mm-hmm.
Where darkness, um negative energy is dark and dense.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
for information.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
have friends and you get hot around them every time, your
Mm.
body's having to if you're sitting and you're not exercising, when you're sweating or you
Right.
start to perspire, it's because, and I say this for everyone that's listening, because they can do that. It's a test
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
emergency nervous system,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, okay, what's
Island.
happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are things that you can test and ask yourselves before you go, or you know, ask you and keep checking. How do you feel? How did you feel before you saw that person, and how do you feel after? And are you drained for 2 days afterwards?
Right.
That's a
Very
big
important.
tell.
Yeah.
So those are the people that you're going to need to limit their access to you, either by phone, and when you're on the phone, walk, ground yourself while
Mm.
you talk to them, because otherwise they're going to drain your energy again.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really amazing. These are tricks that I teach these every day. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good one. The walking one's actually a really good one.
yeah, it's
Just
really
gets your
good.
energy pumped, you know.
Yeah, even if you can't leave your home, like
Right.
you've got a new baby. So if you can't leave the home, pace the floor. That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I
Just do
just
circles.
walk all over
Yeah.
the house. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
because
I
you're
do it.
grounding
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I find that we were talking about crystals earlier. And I've
Yeah.
sold crystals for too many years to think about. And
Yeah. They're
I got into
amazing.
it on an energetic level, and then do a
Yeah.
lot of rock and gem shows and see a lot of people come by. Some people,
Love
that
them.
is the way that they're
My house
attuned.
is filled with them everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes, everywhere. They're beautiful, really
yeah.
beautiful ones.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they're all amazing. I mean, they all
They
have their own
are.
personality, and
They
what I
exactly.
find,
They're like us.
yeah, no,
They have
absolutely,
something to
yeah,
say, and they have a beautiful power
yeah,
just for us.
yeah. It's
They're
very
meant for
subtle.
whoever gets them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have their own thing. Sometimes they don't want to be around you. They're just like, get away from me,
Exactly. It's like I don't.
Yeah,
It's like I'm waiting for somebody else. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, and what I find that, and it's not a secret, but not
Mhm.
many people know to do it. A lot of people come up and want to know the metaphysical,
Yeah.
um, lore or
Sure.
metaphysical understanding of a
Yeah.
stone, and it's very. What's tricky is that everybody's
They
vibrating
vary.
at
Yeah.
very different
Exactly.
levels, and these
Exactly.
stones are also vibrating at their own level too.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're not all going to match the same for everybody,
That's a
but
really smart remark.
yeah,
Really,
but
that's
the
very
trick,
wise.
yeah, yeah, the trick to finding the one that's right, which is very
Hmm.
similar to the restaurant
Yeah.
example, is to scan with your hand over the tables of
Exactly.
stones,
Feel them.
because and if you have to, if you can't shut the mind off, close the eyes, and you'll sense a
Let your
tickle, electric,
absolutely.
a cool
Yeah.
sense, a heat,
Yeah.
whatever, something. You'll get a
Yes, you
sense
will.
that's different than another sense, and I
Yes. It's
find
the
that
energy.
it's not always the prettiest or the biggest stone. You know.
That's true. It's true. I have rescued many
Yeah.
crystals, many stones and crystals over the years. Literally, God would send me to go get them.
Yeah.
I didn't know. He called them field trips.
What was
I
it?
call it. We go on a field trip to
Oh.
rescue. Yeah, and I go to these malls, these antique places, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I would have to see and find it. It was also games that God would play with me where
Hmm.
it was find and seek, because I
Right.
love that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So what he would do is he would keep showing me the vision. He'd tell me where I'm going, left, right, get there. It was a journey, which was fun. And
Yeah.
then we'd arrive and I get out and he'd say, okay, here's the picture. This is their vision. See? And then I had to find that and
Yeah.
rescue them. So it was my own real life.
That's cool. Yeah. Treasure
It's
hunt.
like the what are those shoot 'em up whatever are those little candy things or something, one of the games.
The
Again,
grabber
I don't watch
games.
TV,
Yeah.
so
Oh. Okay.
yeah, the games like the games where they play. It's like I do that in real life,
Yeah.
actually.
And you
You
can.
know, yeah,
That's part
it's
of. I mean,
beautiful.
life can be really entertaining and fun by itself. You
I
know.
do. I
I'd
have a
say
blast.
TV is modeled, mostly after activities that we do, and
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
uh,
Reflections of ourselves.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And we can do most of these things and have just as much fun, out
Hmm.
in the backyard or wherever you might be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I
Do
love
you
nature.
do you find that you gravitate towards people specifically because they need help, or are you finding yourself in amongst peers of people that are kind of on the rise along with you?
Hmm.
They're on their own journey, but they're in their own
It's
place,
interesting.
that kind of thing.
Where I am now, because of the work I've done, there are very few like me.
Right.
Very, very few, if any, to be honest, according to what God has shared with me,
Mm.
and statistics and that sort of thing. But for the most part, what I have found is that most people have a difficult time with shutting down their logic.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and if you cannot, if my attempts at distracting, I keep tapping the bear, like they say you're poking the bear.
Yeah.
I am, because I'm like tap 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 tap, and I'm doing it in such a soft, gentle way that even your numb emotions, your very 100% logical self, like I was, believe me, you have no I was so, you know why I went into finance? Because numbers don't lie and
Right. Right.
people do. And that's why I went into finance.
Yeah.
Now, so
Right.
that was one of the big things. And that was my driver, because it was so hard to look at someone. Because I knew long time ago what my skills, some of my talents were. And I could look in the eyes of someone and know if they were telling the truth or not.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, God told me never, and this is funny, never ask a question I didn't already know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I said, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Because we all need confirmation, not validation. We need to know that the messages that God is giving to us, or that ourselves, that God through our own selves is given to us, about us, for us, about us,
Yeah. Yeah.
to get us toward our divine purpose and
Right.
intention. Because God taught me that every decision in our life, we're either choosing to be distracted from our divine path, or we are choosing to stay on our path. And and I'll put this in a human term here. Because
Mm-hmm.
most people, I know I don't really talk in a way that everybody gets,
Right.
but you feel it in your heart, and when you ask, it's the truth. See? So it's interesting because you feel long before you hear. You
Right.
understand?
Yeah.
You feel long before you see. I mean, it's interesting because you feel a presence before you see it with your eyes. So it's like you expect a certain sight. Okay. So your eyes see something, and you, like, as a man, it's like, the movies with these beautiful women, Baywatch, for example, gorgeous Pamela Anderson, right? It
Mm-hmm.
stops, boom, you're staring at her. Not a man in the world wouldn't look at that woman and say, oh my gosh, take your breath, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
why? Because of what you expect to see and what you got to see. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because your expectations of beauty were one thing, and now you see something that you hadn't seen before. That's the exact same thing that we experience with experiences, physical experiences ourselves.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Versus the sense of feeling. Is that
but
right?
everything but everything that we do has to be driven off of feeling positive, peace of mind, love, and joy. If it takes us away from that, then we're doing something wrong, and we need to check with ourselves about a new direction, because
Mm-hmm.
we're not caring, we're not giving self-love and self-care, because we're not self-aware.
Right. Yeah. So it's that block, basically.
It is.
Yeah. And would you say that the senses are kind of an overriding factor to that? The eyesight, seeing things, that kind of creates its own
Yeah,
block.
yeah,
The sense of taste also creates its own kind of block,
everything,
and
every
touch,
sense we
and
have. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
numbed out. It's like kind of like a smoker. For
or
to your
overpowering,
point,
perhaps. Yeah,
exactly. As
yeah.
an example, so my father was a smoker,
Mm-hmm.
and for a long time, and he would smoke, and then I'd say, you really eat fast. I remember as a little girl, and I asked him that, and he said, well, I don't really taste it. So
Hmm.
what he was saying was, I mean, cigarettes numbed out his flavor,
Yeah.
so the food didn't taste as good, so he just ate it quick. He didn't savor it. And
Mm.
my mother's cooking was amazing. I mean, we were like, oh,
Yeah.
every Sunday we were always over there,
Yeah. Make you want to quit
but
smoking, right?
yeah, let me tell you, oh,
Yeah.
it was the best Southern cooking. And so for that statement, what I knew at that moment as a little kid was, oh, mm, I see. Because
Mm-hmm.
I could hear, that's the point. Our children hear what every part, our inner child, our heart, and our bodies are saying. Every cell of us. That is why children know things before we as adults know them,
Oh
is
yeah.
because these kids, these beautiful children, are in tune with themselves.
Right.
Therefore, they see and hear and know everything.
So
They
much
are
more. Yeah.
smarter
Yeah.
than most parents give them the credit for, which is why Joy University is so important to me.
Yeah.
We have to teach our kids how powerful they are.
Absolutely. I'm all
There's
about
a
that.
lot in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I've heard recently, and I completely buy into it. I don't know if it's true, but I totally believe it. Is that kids under the age of 7 or until about 7 years old, their brain waves are vibrating or moving at about theta.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Yep.
above. They're in like a
They're
dream
high,
state.
high.
Yeah,
Yes,
high
they are in
dream.
their higher self. They
And
are.
yeah, their
Uh,
experiences, they're just like, just
yeah.
like somebody in their dreams, just trying to figure things
Yep.
out. There's scary
Absolutely.
things that happen. They
Yeah.
they overreact about different things. They're just trying to
Mm-hmm.
learn the ropes. They're
Yeah.
slowly being moved into the higher speed, the higher
Right.
consciousness, which stops or holds back, I should say. It creates a veil between the dream
Yeah.
state, the subconscious state, and the waking state. And it does it, I
Absolutely.
think, on protective purposes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It
reason
does.
why, we don't act in a
You're
theta
right.
when we're awake.
Right.
Because there's lions and tigers out there that will kill us.
Yeah.
It's a reason we have the blocks.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I find that really interesting that, if that's true, that the young kids are acting on a very different,
Mm-hmm.
impressive
Yeah.
space than and
Yeah.
brainwave pattern.
Yeah. They are.
Um,
It is true. So
yeah.
so let me give you some facts and numbers here
Oh,
statistically. So
we like
let's
facts,
say,
numbers.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
So by the age of 5,
Hmm.
every child literally they are their whole person. What's
Hmm.
amazing is their characteristics, their self-esteem, their self-confidence, their self-worth has all formed. That's their foundation. Now, what's amazing is they have gifts, the creativity. They are firing left, right, middle in their
Yeah.
brain because they don't know any different. They haven't
Right.
been conditioned to believe they can or cannot do things. See, they just know that they're finding out they have amazingness
Yeah.
lying in their very hands. That's the words I use. Amazingness,
Yeah.
because it's like a baby that's just your little one's just learning her hands and feet and playing with them. It's very similar,
Hmm. Yeah.
but by the age of 8, so they had, I'm gonna say, superpower kids, because they're doing what I'm teaching is what I'm
Hmm.
really saying.
Yeah.
So by the age of 8, if that wasn't cultivated, if they as their intended why was not cultivated,
right,
by the age of 8, that creativity, wonder, magic, and wholesome, unitedness
yeah,
goes from 80% at age 5, 80% of the children,
yeah,
to, but having the gifts, right? Well, at 15, maybe, have lost them already due to trauma. While on the flip side of that, by the time they reach 8, it goes to 80% gone instead of 85% gone,
yeah,
because they're in their logic, because of the conditions they grew up in.
yeah. They're already in school,
Yeah.
already had some form
Yeah.
of
They're taught
traumas
to
that,
learn about
you know,
other things, not themselves. If
right.
I had my way,
Joy
what I
University.
what I would do, I mean it, if I had my
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
Joy University would be
Mm-hmm.
one of the very first to teach children how to be themselves. And you know what, dearest one, I'm talking to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Right. Why
Why
not?
don't we
Yeah.
bring in some teachers that are tired of the states and the governments telling them how to teach and hold these kids back from their greatness?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
time to roar. We
yeah.
need to move on. Instead of holding our kids back, listen, we have children. What I saw and have experienced is that these beautiful spirits of masters
Mm-hmm.
that people reject as a walk-in are going into children
Yeah.
and even animals that I hear, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean it, because there's not enough people that will take acceptance and responsibility for our why. You see?
Yeah, right. The
It's
why.
sad,
Yeah,
but it's the truth. So a lot of people are getting a whole lot of the trusted are getting more and more walk-ins
right,
and growing, you know, more and more in themselves while helping others, and they turn into humanitarians. I mean,
right,
they literally begin to, our goal at this point is to empower the self,
right,
so that we can be, we don't need currency. We trade on skills and unconditional love and live off the land. And there's a lot of opportunities for things, for retreats, for people to escape to
right.
get away from what's being force fed to them because of greed,
Yeah.
using
Well,
fear and anxiety
conditioning.
to do it.
Yeah, lots of conditioning.
It's terrible. Yeah,
And it's passed down. So that's it's an
it is.
ongoing thing that we're all dealing with and trying to
We
figure out how
are.
to evolve and do it in such a way because we're in a very big world with lots of
Yeah.
problems and resource issues and all sorts of
Right.
difficult, tricky
Yeah.
things that we're all working
Yeah.
with.
It's hard.
Uh,
Yeah, it's hard to make any transition seamless.
yeah,
But that is what I'm
it's a
doing in
good
my
challenge,
book.
right?
And that was the challenge that I accepted from God was, all
Right.
right,
Let's figure
I'll
it
write
out.
these books. I'll write my books. I'll write books, but only if you be my co-writer. And you know what he said? I'd be delighted.
Give me the pen.
So we had a blast. And every time
Yeah.
I sit down, I just felt like I was channeling God every
Yeah.
second of everything I did,
That's great.
while
Yeah.
sharing my past experiences. Because as God was telling me what I was going to write, or what we were going to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
he'd take me and he would take me back to a trauma or a situation that happened, and I'd see that and I go, oh. And then my job was to translate what he was telling me, and how to translate that into a language that a
Mm-hmm.
5-year-old could read and
Right.
understand.
Yeah. A
That's
more
very
universal,
complex yet very, very simple.
very down to earth. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Well,
that was the
how
deal.
you're going to be doing the university? how can the watchers and listeners find you and keep track of what you're doing and all these things that are happening? Because it seems like it's just
Yeah.
going to spiral onwards and upwards.
It is. I'm telling you, I want to keep growing because the more I grow, the more people I can help
Yeah.
become ourselves, our true selves. Our true north lives within us,
Right.
and it's
Right.
beautiful. That's called our inner child. Really, it's our
Personal North
gatekeeper.
Star. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
for anyone that wants to reach out to me or follow me, I can be found at author Juniper Jillian Joy. And Facebook, I also have a second one that's just Juniper Jillian Joy. So I made it pretty simple. So
Mm-hmm.
at author Juniper Jillian Joy or at Juniper Jillian Joy.
Okay. I'll have that in the description.
Yeah.
So Facebook, that's the main way currently.
So it's Instagram.
And
So
Instagram.
Instagram,
Right.
TikTok, and Facebook. Those three are the three. And I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't. Um, it's interesting. Um,
That's the professional side of things.
it well, it's
On the
interesting.
social.
In some it I just I don't use it much. I'll
Yeah.
just say that. I'll
Yeah.
leave it there.
It's a different
Yeah.
type of social
It's a
media for
different,
sure.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
because it's not fun for me.
Yeah.
There's
Right. Right.
something about that is too grown up and it's boring. You see,
Yeah. It's all the
it's. I'm
suits.
sorry, I'm sorry, guys, but it's
Yeah.
like I can't be bored.
Right.
My life is filled with joy, and everything I do is to instill joy, have joy, and be joyful doing. I don't care if I'm mopping the floor, I'm gonna have
Right.
joy doing it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about everything.
If that's the
So
calling, then that's what we're doing. We're mopping the floor.
absolutely, I
Yeah.
love it
Yeah.
every
Okay.
minute.
Great. Well, Facebook is a great way to network with people.
Yeah,
You're going
I
to do a
like it.
podcast. You're going to have this university. So you're likely going to have a YouTube at some point as well.
It's up.
Um,
I haven't used it yet. I'm
okay.
literally, I have some projects. I have several, 4 or 5 projects we're finishing up to go. They'll show up really quickly. So, yeah, I'm
Okay.
doing a little bit of this and that
Yeah.
so that I'm firing in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many
Yeah,
different directions,
yeah, yeah.
picking one, and Facebook is a really good one because it's
Yes.
connected to so many
I love
people,
it.
so
Yeah,
many
it's
things.
fun
And
for me.
yeah.
Yeah, and I have an auction house, so one of the things I used to do for fun was I would go in the marketplace
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
buy beautiful things from people, that were moving,
Yeah. Yeah.
and cleanse their energy and
Right.
give them love, and then put them back out for sale to go in a home that's gonna love it. But
Yeah.
it's funny.
Repurpose.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Very good. Well, it was a delight having you
Oh my
for this
goodness, I
episode.
know.
And
How nice to be here.
yeah, and you're gonna have some more books, so we're gonna have it on again.
Hmm.
Do
I'm
some more
really excited.
exploration. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I want families to be able to do this together. So
Mm,
one of the things I'm doing that's going to be coming out really quickly, literally in the coming weeks, is
okay.
going to be the dad, the mom, and the children books in a
Mm,
bundle.
in a
So they'll be
bundle.
able
Okay.
to, yeah. So
Yeah.
excited.
The family unit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
why not? Because
Right.
if you're going to do it, well, everybody does it together. That way, you're not explaining why you're changing your behavior.
Right.
You don't have to. Everybody's doing the same thing, and it's fun. It literally fires the excitement of it's amazing. It's like a light bulb. That's what they mean when they say a light bulb comes on. That's
Mm,
what they
yeah.
mean.
Yeah. The
Because once
spark.
that light in you fires, it's like, oh my gosh,
Right.
I didn't know I could feel this. And you want more. It becomes very addictive.
Oh yeah.
It's why we all, have some little bit of that. And it's because we want to do better and better. That
Right.
little piece of competition.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
want to be a better me than I've ever been every day.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
But it's a good thing to be chasing. I say chase the spark is what I used to
Yeah,
say. Yeah.
exactly.
Look for the
Yeah.
spark in the world, and when you find it,
Yeah.
follow it. Follow it
Yeah.
until it goes out, basically.
Yeah.
Find the
Well,
spark. Yeah. That's
yeah.
fantastic. Well, fantastic.
A
Thank you so much
pleasure.
for being here, and
Thank you for
looking
having
forward to
me.
the next visit.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, and
Thank
we'll
you so much for your time.
most
I
definitely.
loved it.
Yeah, yeah, good time for sure.
Have a
Like,
blessed night and
you as well.
congratulations again on your baby.
Thank you so much. We'll take
Have a
care.
great night.
You too. Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Bye bye.